Hey everybody, welcome to the Permission Portal with Paul Mark and Laz. I'm Paul Mark.
And I am Laz. Let's open the portal.
So our guest today is an intuitive business strategist and satisfaction guide who helps feminine energy solopreneurs step into their CEO energy. Let's welcome to the portal Taylor Davis. Yay!
Hello, everybody. So glad to be here. I'm super excited.
I'm so
So,
glad to have you here.
Yes.
It's
what's
been
up,
it's been
Taylor?
really good. We've known each other for a while, and Laz has worked with you. And gosh, how long have we known each other? It's been
But I think maybe like 4
4
years,
years? Yeah,
give
about
or
that.
take.
That's
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. I know that's it. It feels like longer.
We've been through so much.
It's very true.
Oh yeah, I did. I met you what 2 years ago. Did I meet you 3 years ago?
I
No,
think it was like 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
not me. Two.
So let's see. It would have been
It's
because I
25 now.
Yeah, I spoke at the Condor Approach, I think about 2 to 3 years ago because I moved three
yeah,
years
it was
ago.
22.
Yes.
22.
Wait,
That's what it was.
September 22. She was there. Hey, I didn't
Hmm.
meet you at that one.
No. And I've been to a couple of them because obviously I was helping Ton Cole and running their
Yeah.
business and everything. But yeah, speaking, I think was in the June and September and February, and there's so many at the time. And so it's like they all
Right.
kind of just blend together.
There were three a year at the time.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's interesting because we would also sneak in a fourth one whenever Cole was up in Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was happening then. And I remember the first one that I came to, was it the first one? No, it was the second one. So the first one I came to, I was speaking. The second one, I was speaking, and Idia came
Mm.
and talked about human design. And I was like, that's a load of crap. Because she was talking about it the whole time. I was in the back and I was like, no. And so she
Really?
she asked me,
Very common.
because, well, the thing is, I grew up and in my field, I have a couple of astrologers that I really, really listen to, and the ones that I know are extra good at what they do. And I was a assistant to a person who was doing a lot of the metaphysical fairs in Austin. So I knew a whole lot of astrologers. And when it is like, well, and it's a new thing that's based on astrology, and I was like, okay, yeah, we'll see how long that one lasts. And so
I mean,
so
it's new, but it's not new, actually.
exactly,
It's not new.
exactly.
No.
So-
You're honestly though
It's
the
newly known.
It's
Yeah.
newly known. It's gotten
Yeah.
popular. It's hit the mainstream recently. But I will say, like, I love skeptics because I was a skeptic when I first got into human design. Whether that's where
Mhm.
this conversation goes or not,
Yes.
I was just speaking at Solar Punk and I had people like come down and sit around me. And this one guy was like, well, I don't believe in it. I'm a skeptic. But he's asking questions. And I'm like, you're not as skeptical as you think. And you're my favorite person. So let's talk. Like, because I was there. I was the same way. I found out that I was a projector back in like 2019, and I was like, no, I'm not, because I was very much out of my design. And then the more I
Mhm.
leaned into it, the more I was like, holy shit, this is so applicable to so many things, like and practical and business and all. We'll get into it. But yeah, super
Yeah.
excited.
And
So
it,
you kind of.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say she kind of already got into what I was gonna ask.
Okay, let's go for it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So for the people who don't know you, share some of your background.
Yeah, well, my name's Taylor Davis. I am a satisfaction architect and intuitive business strategist. I started in marketing, copywriting, operations, social media, pretty much everything under the sun when it comes to business and corporate world, entrepreneurship. I've been in multiple different realms. I work with culture changing companies, people that are working on psychedelics or pleasure positive. Honestly, I've worked with everybody. I've even worked with dentists before. I've done the course launches and the products and everything that you can probably think about. And I became somewhat of like a fractional COO, CMO, so marketing and operations. I've run teams, I've built businesses, I've helped other people build their businesses, messaging, everything. And for me, I run my own business and I have, Wildly Satisfied as my brand. And with that comes the guidance from me, the mentorship from me about building a sustainable life and business you don't have to recover from, something that you actually enjoy operating inside of. And on the other side of that, it's like, okay, I have a media platform where when women and a bunch of beautiful men and non-binary individuals can come and really be able to see how the feminine does business differently because we have the feminine inside all of us. And I always say, the feminine sets the standard, the masculine leads from it inside of us, as well as in polarity, relationships, that type of thing. But I'm all about building like pleasurable, sustainable, satisfying, successful businesses and lives. And that's what I really like to focus on. I have like a whole done for you arm of my business as well, like systems and websites. I have a team who can do that because I'm like a full service person where I'm like, no excuses. We're getting out there. We're doing the thing that we want to do. Like if you don't know somebody, I know somebody. If I don't know somebody, somebody I know knows somebody. So like let's freaking go. That's how my energy is. But I really started building my own business and recognizing how much I was doing that was not only masculine and like in some ways a very unhealthy version of masculine hustle culture. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do it because that's the way everybody's showing me. At the same time, I was burned out and my nervous system was extremely dysregulated for years. I was having health issues. I've had health issues my whole life. And I was like, there has to be a better way for this. And so not only did I get into nervous system work and masculine feminine energy, but my background in operations and marketing, I also got into human design because I was obsessed with why people do the things that they do ever since I was a kid. And I love personality tests. And then human design is not a personality test. But when I got into it, I took the chart, I got my chart just like anybody else. And I was like, what the hell is this? I don't believe in astrology. I mean, I'm open-minded. I always joke that in like everywhere else in the world, I'm the probably most woo-woo spiritual person. But in Austin, I am the least woo-woo spiritual person in these spaces. It's really funny. It's so
Right.
it's so funny. And so like with me, it's I love astrology. I'm open to it. It's not really something that I do. And then when it comes to like human design, I had to understand that that's not astrology. It's part of it, but it's got other things inside of it. And when I really started leaning into, okay, well, what is this thing? How am I a projector? Oh, I'm a 4/6 splenic projector. I have the Genius to Freak channel. I have this channel and this gate. And how does this all work? The more I started intuitively testing it and for myself and living in my design, and then the more I started testing it with my clients without them really knowing, but I'm like, huh, she's a projector. What if she did this? Oh,
Mm.
she has a defined ego willpower. What if she actually tried this? Ooh, he's a generator and she's a projector. They're in relationship together and they're building a business together. We need to pay attention to how they're talking to each other. And so I really started utilizing human design as a tool and a system. I lived it myself. I've deconditioned quite a bit. I keep studying it more and more. And then I've tested it intuitively myself, but also with other people. So you can really understand how you operate, how you communicate, and how you make decisions that are aligned with you, not anybody else.
So for those people that don't understand, like we understand human design
Mhm.
because we've worked with it and of course we've learned a lot of it from you. So do you have, because I love your the how you the analogy you have for the different types of human designs.
The
And
waterfall
so,
or the
yeah,
house?
the waterfall. Oh,
Okay.
there's a house one too. I love the waterfall,
Okay.
but tell
Yeah.
me.
So one thing really with human design is that I'll say a couple things as I get into the waterfall analogy is human design is not there to tell you what you can or cannot do. It's just here's a blueprint for how you operate. Here's most likely what's going to come up. Here's how you communicate. Here's how you make decisions. It's one of the most empowering tools and systems I've ever seen before. And so when I hear from a lot of people that are like, "Oh yeah, well it's this floaty like thing," or I'm like, "No, no, no, it's actually very practical." And because if you know your system, you operate more intuitively, it's not disempowering. It's not like, oh, well, I'm a projector, so I don't have energy. It's like, no, 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 no. You do. You just have to efficiently and effectively use it, and that's what you're here for. And so when it comes to like the waterfall analogy, it's just something that came through when I was really thinking about how all the types work together. It's manifestors are the waterfall, right? Direct from source, big visions. They're meant to like, they're fire starters. They're the lighting of the match that's supposed to like blaze the inferno, right? So they're the waterfall, just the rushing energy coming down. And then there's the generators, which is like the stream, right? The projectors are the riverbank that's holding the stream, the generator energy that's like, no, 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 don't go out onto the bank. Like, no, we're going to guide this energy and this vision forward, and you're going to build it this way. And then the manifesting generators are like the mist, the steam. So the manifesting generators are where like the manifestor waterfall and the stream meet of like that beautiful mist, and it just makes it ethereal and wonderful, right? And then the reflectors are like the sun reflecting on the water of like, oh, this is beautiful. This is an amazing glen. Look at everybody working together in this ecosystem so wonderfully. It's not that one type is better than another. It's not that one type is more powerful than another. It's that we all have different roles and ways that we operate that just make sense. And the more that you decondition and work within that energy and those superpowers and how you're meant to operate, the more you de-shame yourself and the more you're able to take off and like catapult. I have seen so many projectors lean into being a projector, decondition, it's painful. We all know what deconditioning is like. Shedding those stories, shedding what you think you have to do instead and being what you are instead. And then from there being like, oh my God, like success is just coming to me. Same thing with generators. Same thing with
That's
manifesting
neat.
generators. Yep. Laz is
Great.
a
I'm
generator.
It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because Laz and I are both 6'2s,
Hmm.
and Laz is a generator. I'm a manifesting generator.
Yes.
And there are times where I want to be really flighty and I can lean on Laz to make sure that things go where they're supposed to go, you know?
Let me also say this too, a couple of like misconceptions with manifesting generators are not part manifester. So I just want to get that out of the way because I hear
Yeah.
that so much. They're like, "Oh, I'm part manifester." I'm like, "No, you're not."
No, no.
But you are not just a generator either. People like to like bulk in generators and manifesting generators, and then somehow it shames manifesting generators sometimes because they're like, well, yeah, but you can show up consistently and build. I'm like, no, you need variety in order to create consistency. You need to be able to
Hmm.
pivot and be able to be creative because I've had people that are manifesting generators be called flaky or flighty or whatever it is. And I'm like, but are you, or is your energy just wanting to go in multiple directions and you have the energy because you are turned on by it to be able to do
Right.
that? I'm
You
not.
know, but before this, in my astrology, I'm a Gemini, and Geminis get blamed for being flaky and for being two-faced and for all that stuff. So I was used to that, and I realized like that was one of the things that helped me lean into human design because when I came back and was talking to my friend about this reading and about Idiot, I was like, "Can you believe this?" And I started talking about all the things that are manifesting generator, you know, tropes, and I was telling my fraternity sister about it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you've been like that as long as I've known you." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." And it's so funny because she said, and this is a story that lives with me now, she said that, we were both officers in our fraternity, and we would have these officer meetings where we're trying to figure out what to do next. And she's like, "You're famous for saying, I can give you a brilliant idea, but somebody else is going to have to do the work for it." And I was like, well, that does sound like something I would say. But also
Go ahead.
knowing that I will, I don't have the starter,
Mhm.
which I just found that out recently. You told me that in
Yeah,
September. And it was funny because I always have multiple projects. And I even had some friends who were just like, "Paul Mark, you make me tired with all the things that you can get done in a day." And it's like, well, how do you do it? And so then I was explaining how I did it, and they're like, "You lost me."
yeah,
But
yeah,
when you have a list of things that can be done, and you figure out, okay, well, while this is cooking, I can get onto something else. And then next thing you know, you've got a B, C, and D list. And while you're waiting for the things in A to get done, you get most of B and C done.
God, that's such a manifesting generator approach.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
It's actually it's better than the master of one.
Yes.
What'd
Here's
you
the
say?
rest of it.
Yeah,
There's more
I
to that.
didn't know this until recently.
Yes.
Mhm.
Often
Yeah.
better.
Mhm.
Yes. Often better than master of one. Yes.
Like, whoa.
Well, and honestly, like that goes into, and we don't have to go into this, but something recently that came up around how we're stepping into a new renaissance with AI, with a lot of things that are coming out. It's a brand new renaissance, right? What I've noticed too is like the industrialized age really made us into specialists and into like, let's focus on this one thing, hyper masculinize, focus on this one thing, get this one thing done. And that's just not who we are as human beings in general. We're very creative people. But if you have certain things like, as a manifesting generator, you're going to have multiple things going on, and just accepting that and not like trying to shove yourself into someone else's design or someone else's way of being. Or even like generators are the type like full generator, right? And I don't like to use the word pure generator because that feels weird
Mhm.
for me, but like full generator types, they're meant to like master things. And so like them showing up and being able to master something every single day, that's a lot easier for them than it is for other types. That doesn't mean that other types can't. It's just easier. And so when I like to talk about human design, I'm like, it's just the path of least resistance for each
Oh,
type you can lean into. And the fact that you're a 6'2" and he's a 6'2", like both of you guys are 6'2s, but you're both very different. For anybody listening right now, 6'2" is the profile line. So I'm a 4'6", they're both 6'2s. You can be a 1'3". There's a lot of different combinations. And the fact that you're both generators, and this is a great example of like intuitively testing and how don't put in manifesting generators and generators together, even though you're a generator type, because you're so different. You're a 6'2" generator, Laz. Paul Mark, you're a 6'2" manifesting generator. You guys have similarities, but you are very different. Knowing those intricacies, knowing how to capitalize on the differences of your profile lines, your authorities, your centers, defined and undefined, the channels you have, the gates that you have, like the things that are in your chart, it can feel overwhelming. But I tend to look at human design as like, what is going on in your life right now that we need to focus on this thing in your chart for you to be able to move through that thing right now. People want to fire hose you with a bunch of information about this thing and all this stuff. And I'm like, but it's not all applicable. It might be, but you're gonna
Mhm.
you're gonna find it as it comes. Like it's not time for you yet. If we're focusing on this one thing, great. The rest will come as you go.
See, and that
okay.
feels so safe for me
Yeah.
to be like, okay, I don't have to deal with that right now.
Well, me
Yeah.
telling you all this stuff about your design and you not being ready for it, you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, you told me that months ago, but it didn't really land until now. And I was like, yeah, because it wasn't time yet. So why would I tell you months
Right.
ago when you're gonna just come for me at later and be like, well, I'm going through this thing, and I'm like, yeah, it's because you're a 6'2"
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
No, I'm just right now, like just leaning back into my fitness like I am. Like how I tried to push it off for so many different ways, so many times. It's like, no, this is easy for me.
Yeah.
It looks hard to a lot of other people, but this ain't hard for me at all. Like,
Yeah. and
Mhm.
and having that ease, right? Whenever I talk about satisfaction, whenever I talk about anything in life, why are we making more problems for ourselves when we don't need to? Because a lot of our culture is obsessed with, well, we have a problem, we need to fix it. We have a problem, we need to fix it, that type of thing. And I think what I notice is like, why don't you just triple down on what works for you? Why don't you, triple down on, well, I have these superpowers. This has always come naturally to me. This is what I call intuitive strategy. And while this is
Mhm.
not human design, like human design is part of intuitive strategy, but it's something that I've developed over the years. Every single person in the world, when you were born perfectly. And I mean perfect for not perfect as in invaluable, perfect as in like you had all these gifts and abilities and a way about you that you were just meant to, just like nature, everything has a purpose. You were meant to bring into the world, and then trauma comes in and experiences come in and we get conditioned, and that's part of the process and all the things. But if we can lean into our intuitive strategy, which is if we just lean into who we naturally are, things are easier instead of forcing ourselves into ways that aren't. Do we
mm,
grow? Do we get better skills? Yes, of course. But why can't we do both? Like, why are we making this harder on ourselves? And so when it comes to intuitive strategy, I always tell people, I'm like, it's how you naturally have made friends, have gotten jobs, have shown up in like your life. Your parents probably looked at you and was like, I don't know where she learned that from. Oh, she's just always been like that. Oh, he just
Right.
always loved French music and we don't know why. And it's like, then you find out there's something in their ancestry or something that's just who they are. Like, there's an intuitive way that you operate. And why not, as a foundation of how we live our life, build that intuitive way as the solid foundation and then go and challenge ourselves and try in different realms if we want to. But we don't need to like force ourselves into something because someone else told us to, unless we really feel good about it. And we're like, yeah, okay, cool. This is new. Like, amazing. I don't want to do certain things. Like, people are like, oh, yeah, well, you need to run. I'm like, I'm not a runner unless something is chasing me. I will sit here and I will do Pilates because I like it. Just
Right.
randomly.
That's a great segue. My mom used to always say that my discernment was ridiculous. Somebody could come into my space and I'd be like, yeah, no. For those who don't know, I am a sacral generator, meaning I have that discernment my mom was talking about, and I know how to listen to it. It's automatic, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's yes or no. And it's right then and there when I ask myself a question. And as far as I know, because I don't have my dad's, my mom and my brother are both emotional. I'm sacral. And so my mom picked up on that when I was a little kid. You were about to say something, and I have a question.
Yeah. No, I was always, as a very, very young kid, I had a very strong, what you could call moral compass. Like, I just
Mhm.
knew right from wrong. And my parents were like, "Oh, well, it's because you were raised." I was like, "No," because I would look at you guys and I would look at you and be like, "Nope," to my parents and be like, "No." And
Do
like,
as I say, not as I do.
yeah, I am a splenic projector. I'm a 4-6 splenic projector. And I always joke that nothing out of integrity survives me. And if you look at my design, a lot of it is about integrity, for joy, for happiness, for things like that. So when I look at me growing up and I would look at my parents, I'd be like, you're not happy, but you're not doing something about it. And then you're saying this shit or you're acting this way. What are you doing? Or I'd be like, nope, that's a lie. And projectors are the biggest fucking bullshit detectors in the world. Oh, I hope I can swear. I just realized I'm just like dropping F
That's
bombs.
okay.
So I feel like there are these things when you actually look at your design and you're like, oh, I've always been like that. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't learn that from my parents or anyone. It was just me. And in my design, when you look at your human design, it just gives you the language to it. You're like, yep, oh, that's
Mhm.
that thing. That's the energy I felt. Oh my God. And so
Yeah.
it's about being really recognized a lot too. You're seen on a different level.
Yeah.
So
You don't like F bombs? This podcast is
no,
not for you.
I
I am
haven't
not for
dropped
you.
an F-bomb yet. We're in season 2 and I haven't dropped an F-bomb yet.
Shit, I have. I don't
Yeah,
give
no, no, you have.
You're the shit.
a
You do not want to work with me either because I say fuck left and
Oh,
right.
I
So
love it. Like, cool. So,
what was your
Taylor,
question? Yeah.
when it comes to your clients, right? How are you supporting your clients, whether it's in business or out of business, in taking what they're doing from being transformation to transcendent?
Oh,
Ooh.
wow.
Mm.
Hmm. So I feel like when I've seen people elsewhere, like we go through these amazing transformations, whether it's like psychedelic journeys or coaches or a trip to Bali or like whatever it is, we have these transformative moments. And I feel like with me and what I do, integration is a huge part of that. I know we all talk about that, but for me, it's like you're not just going through another round of transformations. You're not constantly, when we look at your chart or we look at your business or whatever it is, I see more people understand themselves and in some ways get out of the transformation loop of like, oh, but I'm going in this evolution again and again. Nothing wrong with that. But going through an evolution every 2 years because we're not in alignment is very different than like, oh my God, I just had this amazing experience and it opened my mind. It's very
Yeah.
different. And so in some ways that like I call it a collapse and recovery loop, like cycle that happens with that. I get people out of that. I'm like, we're not doing that. We're going to build from a very solid foundation of you, not me. not what I think, not my strategy, not my way of being, not who I am. It's who you are. And I'm going to recognize you so fucking hard that you're going to most likely cry, and that's okay, but you're going to have so many beautiful realizations. And I don't need to sit here and fix you. I don't need to sit here and solve some problem for you. The problems are going to naturally dissolve when we speak and when we work through things. You're going to have realizations, and then you're going to go and act and be like, holy shit, I just did this thing and it changed. Holy shit. And guess what? You weren't being forced into something that didn't feel like you. And so when it comes to like the transcendent thing, in some ways, the people that I work with, the more that they lean into who they are, whether that's through like masculine, feminine energy, it's through business and operations and marketing and human design, whatever it is, because I bring it all together, it's transcending a lot of the ways that you thought you had to operate, kind of like resetting your OS, your operating system. It's like, oh yeah, wow, I was like a Mac, but I've been operating like a PC my whole life because they told me that I had to operate this way. And it's like, cool, we're going to wipe the hard drive and we're going to return to your operating system. And then we're going to reintegrate that. So that way you're taking the path of least resistance. You're still challenging yourself. Satisfaction is not settling. It's not being complacent. It's not like, oh, well, I'm just going to sit here and I'm good. Like that's feeling like pleasure and adding things to your life that are pleasurable and sustainable and like being intuitive and having that foundation. It makes you want to grow, and it does allow you to grow faster and happier rather than going like, oh, well, I'm pushing myself in this realm of like how this person tells me to do social media or how they've told me I need to do business or whatever it is. It feels awful. I mean, yeah, I'm learning lessons. That's great. But did you have to go through that pain? Like that unnecessary pain? We all need to go through some challenges, but we don't need to suffer. Like suffering is optional. And I find that a lot of business advice, a lot of marketing and operations and just rhetoric in the world, it just causes a lot of unnecessary suffering. And so if I think about like transcendence, yeah, you're going to transform, but you're also going to transcend a lot of the things that are causing you to suffer for no reason and wasting your energy. My biggest thing is like, is this wasting your energy? Or are you using it where you need to go for the path of least resistance to have and be and do the things that you want? And it's like, and then do we need to challenge ourselves somewhere? And like, that's fine too. But just transcending a lot of the bullshit that they tell you that you have to do to be
Just get
whatever it
used
is.
to the pain.
But no,
Just get
no.
used to the pain. Pain is weakness leaving the body. No, motherfucker. Pain is a signal.
The
And
signal.
if it's staying around for a long time, it's not leaving the body.
Well,
Yeah.
Pilates girl. I'm actually a Pilates instructor. And it's so funny because we would talk, all the mind body group X teachers would talk about the people who were heavy lifting and whatever. And we're like, do they have to be so loud? Yeah. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
anybody who's, if I pick up something that makes me make a sound like that, I'm going to put it down.
So it's funny that you bring up fitness, and I think that you guys will both appreciate this. When I talk about pleasurable business, and like one thing I always say is if it's not pleasurable, it's not sustainable. Why are we forcing ourselves to do something that like discipline's great, devotion is great, and being able to show up and challenge ourselves is beautiful. But why are we trying to force ourselves into things that just don't feel right? And so when it comes to fitness, and if it's not pleasurable, it's not sustainable, I actually use a fitness example. I'm like, okay, if you feel pain, that means it's a signal that something's wrong. And I don't mean pain because this is where like understanding how your body is and the signals and the nervous system and like all these things that are coming up. So
Growing pains happen too, but
yeah,
Yeah.
well, this
Yeah.
is where we distinguish between what is pain and what
Mhm.
is like a growth muscle. So in fitness, great example. When you are lifting weights, let's say you're like lifting a barbell or something, and you're
Mhm.
like, holy shit, my arm is in pain. There's a twinge, it doesn't feel right, something like that. That is a signal for your body to go, stop, our form is off. And any personal trainer will tell you, you shouldn't be in pain. Like if there's
Right.
pain, something with the form is off, we need to correct it. Correct the form, not because you're wrong, not because you're doing something bad, not because you're shame. We need to shame you for it, just because there's something off.
Or if the pain is in the joint.
Maybe the correction is like, oh, you're not getting the right nutrients. Oh, you don't have enough B12. Oh, whatever it is, we need to stretch and warm up first. Okay.
Mhm.
And then when you correct it, oh my God, you're good. You're doing it. It's good. But then you feel the burn of challenging yourself.
Mhm.
And that is different than pain, and people really realizing that and then applying that principle to their business and their life and everything that they're doing and going, oh, wow. So I'm doing social media this way and it's painful. Great. I need to correct how I'm doing it to do it in a way that's right for me. And then look how much simpler it is. Look at my growth edges. Look at me and how I'm building, being like, oh my God, yes, I challenged myself. The biggest mistakes I have ever made in my life, in my body, in my relationships, anything, is because I wasn't paying attention to where my form was off and I needed to correct it. And I was causing myself more dysfunction and disease because I was just going with the pain and being like, oh,
Mhm.
well, I need to go with the pain because that's what everybody says. No.
Hmm.
You know,
So is that kind of an example of intuitive business foundations?
Yes. Yeah. It's why not build from a solid foundation of you and how you operate intuitively, honoring your body, honoring your mind, challenging yourself when it's time, but not building from like, oh, there's something wrong with me. I need to fix it, which is bullshit, by the way. And not like, oh, I got to fix this problem. Oh, I'm not good at social media. That's a problem. Oh, I'm not good at making money. That's a problem. And I'm like, how about we just release that everything is not a fucking
oh,
problem? The amount of times I've had conversations in the last week where I'm like, I don't want to fix your problem anymore. This
Mhm.
thing in the entrepreneurial world, marketing world, coaching it, whatever you want to talk about it, whatever world it comes from,
always fixing.
fucking capitalism, whatever it is, wherever it came from, it's like, it's what if it's like we don't need to make it a problem? It's just there, we've addressed it, cool. And then we're gonna move forward with something different. And we don't have to like dive into it and rip
We
into it and
don't
be
make
like,
we
yeah,
don't make speed bumps. We don't call speed bumps problems.
and we just remove
Well,
them.
it depends on if you want to speed, that they are a problem.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
when they're placed correctly inside
Yes.
of a residential area or
Hmm.
a commercial space, and there's a bunch of kids running around, we just say it's a speed bump. Slow the fuck down, get over the
Yeah.
speed bump. When you get out of here, we speed the fuck up. We don't call them problems, and that's what's coming up for me right now.
It comes down to the convenience of it.
Yeah.
So the speed bump is not a problem if you are trying to keep your children safe. The speed bump can be a problem if you're running late and you're trying to make up time. If you aren't familiar with the street and you're just going on at a little clip. I know in the Austin area, there's warning signs, speed bump ahead, or there's something that says speed bumps coming. And the
Mhm.
speed bumps are a different shape than the ones here where I live.
Mm.
And so
Mhm.
there is no sign, or there might just be a dip. And
Oh
you're like,
yeah,
well, yeah. And
that's
so you can bottom out, and now
It's a
that
problem.
dip is a
the
problem.
transmission on the floor
Yeah.
on the ground. That's a whole different issue. I
And
have. Go ahead.
so, well, and it's because Arlington is a glorified suburb. It's now a full-on city, but for the longest time it was a suburb. And
Well, and
so,
sorry, I
but
just
go ahead.
realized with you saying that, it's like, cool, they laid down a city with one intention that
Hmm.
wasn't for what everybody else it like grew into. And
It
that's what
did, yeah.
happens when you start businesses and lives
Mhm.
on one blueprint that doesn't work for the people who live there and what it can grow into. And
Right.
so like even when I think about intuitive strategy and the work that I do with people, like I'm like, cool, we're building for you, but also we're building for the growth of what's about to happen, not you building your business and then burning it down in 2 years because someone told you to niche down into this way of being and you're like, I'm fucking bored. So same with the speed bumps is like they
I got
didn't
something to say about that.
yeah, they didn't build they built it for right now, which is a
Right.
survival strategy versus like
Hmm.
what are we building into and can we honor where we're at now and how you operate and then for what you're going to grow into because you're going to
Right.
grow. Like,
Yeah.
I got something to say about that niche down bullshit.
yeah, let's do
So
it.
it's not bullshit for everybody. It's bullshit for me though. And here's how I knew it. Like my intuition knew this shit. And then I got into the clarity code. And Taylor, we were on a call. Taylor was looking at my chart. And everybody has an identity center, the ego center.
No,
And
identity is G center and then
oh,
ego is heart.
there we
Mm.
go. Thank you for that correction. So my identity center is undefined. And when I was saying what I was saying, she stopped me and she saw my chart and she was like, "You're saying this, and you are not meant to niche down. Your identity center is undefined.
Mhm.
The people that are," and then I found that the person who kept telling me to niche down, who I paid money, has a defined identity center. And this
Mhm.
person is always saying, "Post less, you're posting too much." And the crazy thing is, and using fixed language a lot. And I'm like, that I like the not posting a lot thing. Oh, how can I do this and also not feel like I have to post all the time? But sometimes I feel like posting all the time. And there's somebody I know who I've met in person who's in Austin who posts all the fucking time sometimes, like nonstop, twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. He just posts when the fuck he wants. And he makes as much money as you've made in 2.5, 3 years doing what you're doing, or 4 years, or 5 years
Mhm.
in 2 years.
Mhm.
This dude
Well,
makes 100K a month
and
posting all the time. And it's wrong. It's getting you less leads, less qualified leads. Is it?
so
That's
that
the kind
so
of shit. Anyway,
no, I was gonna say like that when people are like that's wrong, I'm
Mhm.
like, according to who?
Right.
According to who? It's working for them. As long as they're being in integrity and they're not shitheads, because that's a whole other conversation. But like because I'm very big about like be in integrity. Like don't be an asshole. Like be a good person and like don't cheat people out of their money and like say you're one thing and then be something else. Like that is just get rid of that. It's dying away. But with what you're saying, like let's go to the defined identity versus undefined identity center. With human design, everything is not absolute. Okay, this is just with patterns of what I've seen show up. Take it and go intuitively test. What I have seen with defined and undefined identity centers. Undefined identity centers are chameleons. That means it's white, that diamond in the middle, it's white, right? I have an undefined identity center. We're chameleons. We're going to change in different environments. And that's just how we are. Our environment really matters. So if you take that principle and you go, okay, I'm a different person in different environments. I have a core integrity and like who I am and values. I change and around different people. Why would I create a business that requires me to be one way all the time? It doesn't make sense. And then I always talk about human design in terms of potency. To me, it's like stacking potency. So I have that. I have the undefined. And Paul Mark, do you have an undefined identity center?
I do.
You do.
Yeah.
Okay.
makes sense.
So you, as a manifesting generator, so you have an undefined identity center, which means you're naturally a chameleon. As a manifesting
Mhm.
generator, you're going to have multiple things going on. That means that's even more potent in your life and in your design. So if someone
Yes.
tells you to niche down, and your entire business is being niched down, you're going to feel like you are in a fucking chokehold. And it's like, can we stop telling people that they have to niche down into some modality that doesn't serve who they are and what they're growing into? And by the way, selling through your modality gets you stuck and burned out eventually. But if you look at
Mhm.
it and go, okay, I need flexibility as a manifesting generator. I have an undefined identity center, which means I'm probably not going to ever niche down my business, but I'll niche down an offer. And I need
Right.
to, that's when it's the best to be able to use it is like niche the offer. Don't niche your entire business. Don't be like, I'm a massage therapist. And I'm like, cool. How are you going to feel in 2 years when you're burned out from massaging people all the time and you're bored? You got to,
Motherfuckers people want to tell people about you.
and then you're not
I
getting
am
recognized.
also the person who will dive head into something just long enough to perfect it, and then I'm done. So it's like when people are like, "Oh, you're the so and so person," I was like, "Oh, that was 2 years ago," or it's like that was last month.
This is not me telling people if you have a defined identity center or an undefined identity center, you do not niche down because that's another person telling you how you need to be. I'm not telling you that.
Right.
I'm saying if this feels right for you, then
Hmm.
learn to work with it. A great example of this is my brand, Wildly Satisfied. I have a completely open identity center. I have no gates in it, nothing. It's undefined, it's open. So for me, I am not the face of my brand. My brand is not about me. It's about this energy, this way of being, this desire for everybody in their life, which really does fit with my undefined identity center. It's like, I know no matter what, I want to be wildly satisfied and successful and it to feel sustainable. That is never going to change. And it also does relate to other parts of my chart as well. Like I have the Genius Freak channel, I have the channel of correction, like judgment, technically channel of judgment, but like there's a lot. It's not, I'm not a judgy bitch, I swear, but that feels
Right.
like that sometimes for people. The channel of judgment is all about like creating, coming in, being able to know specifically what needs to change like that. And then being like, because you're going to have more bliss and vitality and life and excitement and satisfaction. Like I have a superpower for that. So when I think about my brand, I'm like, I am not the forefront of my brand. Every single person I know so far, and I would love if anybody is listening to this and this is not true, reach out to me. But every single person that I see the defined identity, it's colored in, it's yellow. They are their brand. Personal brands work so well for defined identity people. Like I'm thinking of several right now, and their entire Instagram is all them. And it's like their photography and their video, and like it's all them focused, and it's very successful, but that's not how it is for everybody else. And that's okay. Or like if they have a defined identity center, sometimes their language needs to be about I, especially as a six line. I, right? It's
Mhm.
about what I've been through, right? Yes. And for you, there's such nuance to these things in the chart. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
I try not to be like all
well,
manifesting generators or all projectors because that's not how it works. But like play with these different aspects and add
I
the
think
potency
about,
together.
my first fitness coaching company, the brand wasn't me. The brand wasn't me. And now my current brand isn't me. I mean, I have a podcast with my name on it, but my current brand, Creator School, is not me. That's not my, I mean, that's part of me, but that's not my name. It's not all about me.
Yeah.
My name
And
is
we're
on a lot of things. That's
Yep.
like everything is by Hallmark. So my branding is me, you know?
yeah. Well, and it's also so this is where you get into the nuance of it, right? Of like what does intuitively work versus like what someone has told me works. And so, like Laz, for yours, when you had your most successful months and you were most satisfied, when you felt the most satisfied in your business, was it when your business was, branded differently? It wasn't all about you. Did you feel satisfied? Did you receive success? Like asking those questions, right? And then in terms of because some people were getting conditioned, right? We're getting conditioned into different parts of our design with business, and how do we decondition from that? For me, yes, people know me as Taylor Davis. I'm also a four line. I'm a 4-6, which means as a 4-6, the four line is all about trust and connection and knowing people intimately. So, in some level, they're gonna be like, I love Taylor. I love connecting with her. As a six, I'm going to talk about my stories and my experiences and my wisdom. And that is going to be related to the brand. But like for me, being an undefined identity center and like needing that flexibility inside of Wildly Satisfied, there's so many rooms and versions of me that can exist. And that's what I like about the umbrella brand that I talk about a lot is my undefined identity center has room to grow versus being like,
Yes.
Taylor, you
That's
are
what
a
I'm doing
copywriter.
now. That's what I'm doing now with my business. So we've talked about the profile lines. Can we just have a little snippet about what the numbers actually mean for those
Mhm.
people who don't know?
Yeah, so profile
And it's
lines, go
one
ahead.
through six, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And they have different combinations, they mean different things. So you have two numbers in your profile and like 4-6-6-2. The first line is conscious, the second line is unconscious. And so you might not know a lot, like other people feel the second line, but you might not until you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Like it locks in. So with your profile lines, what these are is it's a certain energy. It's kind of like traits that you have or like characters that you play. There's just like an essence to you that's a little bit different. So let's go through the lines. The one line is the investigator. They're the researcher. They're the most beautiful in-depth stalkers in the best way. I just like to throw that out there because like they are the people who will watch you for months, understand and read everything that you create, dive in, and then finally be like, you're my person. They love investigating, they love going down the rabbit hole, and it's all to create a sense of safety and a foundation of safety. They are beautiful foundation builders. And
Mm.
so investigators really, if you ever say this, and actually, it's funny, I'm creating an ideal client guide based on your human design right now. I go into each one of these, but if you ever say to like a one line, oh, just trust me. Oh, you just need to dive in and just do it. They're going to be like, no,
They're
that's an
like,
instant red flag. Yes.
My wife.
The two line is the natural, and the natural hermit, creative, it's the person who is like, things just come naturally to them and they can't always explain it. They need to be able to have time where they can go and like hermit and be away and be in their creative energy. But people confuse the hermit with being like, oh, they just need to be isolated and be like left alone. It's like, no, they just need time to not be out and about doing things so that they can go be creative. That time is creative energy. And then they're going to come back out. You'll find that with two lines, a lot of people want to like invite them out. And in some ways that works because they're like, okay, it's time to come back out again. But like two lines are just very, very natural at things and recognizing that it does come naturally to you. So you guys don't always know that, that this isn't natural for everybody else, which runs into some challenges of like, oh shit, I gotta actually like explain this to my if my ideal clients are one lines or something, you know. So just know that you do have a natural affinity that other people don't have. And
Used to be
then
frustrating for me.
right. And that's the thing too, is like knowing that these profile lines, these naturally come out of you. You can't escape them. You just can't. I've tried. So doing strategies that don't align with them, whether it's like social media or business or operations or whatever, where someone's like, well, you have to do it this way, you're going to burn yourself out really fast. And I can do
So
some
Right.
examples of what that looks
if
like.
you think sometimes, fuck you mean you don't understand, you might be a two line.
Yeah,
Well, okay, so
That's just my experience.
my
that's
two
beautiful.
likes to be invited. Just don't be upset if I don't show up.
Mm.
That is legitimately a two line
Yeah.
right there.
I'm like, invite me, please. I probably won't show up, but please keep inviting me.
I
Yes.
just say
You,
no. I'm going camping this weekend for the very first time with my brother-in-law, an hour away. He's been inviting me 2.5, 3 years. This is the first time my gut was like, yeah.
your sacral is like, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay. And that's great. So keep giving me something to respond to as a generator or manifesting generator. Keep giving me something to respond to. So that's a two line. A three line is the experimenter. You'll find that if you're getting into human design too, there's a lot of the names for certain things, they kind of feel disempowering. That's just because Ra called them that. They're called a martyr. Three line is a martyr. I don't like that. You're experimenter. You are a fuck around and find out individual. Let me get in there and play with it. Let me dive into it. Let me, I just need to try it out. Like that's what you are. And they're also the advocate. So in three lines will fall on their sword. They will get in there, they will screw around with something, they will experiment, they will figure out the lessons, and then if they feel it's right, they will advocate for it. They will fall on their sword to be able to stand up and be like, this is worth it, or I know about this. And so thank you for your service because I don't want to do that anymore. I'll get into this in a second, but as a six line, we have three phases in our life, and the first 30 years is living as a three line. So that's why I'm
I
like, I
remember
know,
that.
yeah, it was fucking
A lot of
wild.
tough. Good.
Yeah, and just knowing that, like that my first 30 years as a six line, I was a three line. Damn, I could have saved myself so much like pain and pressure of being like, oh, my life hasn't even started yet. I'm supposed to fuck around and find out. Okay, cool. I would have released a lot of shame as well. And so anyway, that's a three line. Four lines, which is what I am. I'm a 4/6. So four lines are technically they're called the opportunist. I hate that because four lines are connectors. We are it's all about trust. So you're confidant or not. We trust you or we don't. It's bringing people close or like, nope, I don't trust you. And once we trust you, once we really like feel your, I would say integrity, because integrity is so important as a four line. Once we feel that, we'll tell everybody about you. We'll connect you naturally. We're always the people that like have referral networks. We know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. So like your four line people, like lean into them because they know somebody. But I will say as a four line, I'm a ride or die person when I know my people. When you get out of integrity, the rubber band starts to pull away and get tighter and tighter and tighter. And I will try my best to like save that relationship because it's so important to me. And when that rubber band snaps, you're dead to me. And
Mm.
it's so difficult. It's really difficult to get any of that trust back. And four lines are really like that. And when the reason why the phrase of like opportunist comes up is because when we see something, we're like, oh, I can connect you to this person. Oh my God, there's such an opportunity here for us to connect and to go deep and to build something great together. Like that's that four line energy. But if all of these things have unhealthy energies to them. So please know that if the powers are used for evil, that opportunistic little asshole can definitely be bad. Not in a shameful way, but like, in a joking way. And
I
then,
know some fours, and
right.
I
And
have dealt with that. Yes.
I also know some fours that I'm like, you are not authentic. You think you are, but
Mhm.
you're in a very performative state, which means the integrity's off, which means the
Right.
powers are being used in a way that's not so great with people. And
That.
people can feel it. That's when the
Yes.
opportunist, disempowering feeling comes in.
Hmm.
Um, as a five line, so five lines are they're called the heretics, but they're icons, they're disruptors. They're meant to like speak to the masses. So Taylor Swift is a 5-1. She is disrupting the industry whether you like her or not. And the funny thing is like whether you like her or not, five
That's why
lines.
everything is calculated with her.
She doesn't know she's doing it. She's naturally doing it. Like her
Hmm.
existing is naturally disrupting the more that she's leaning into her being. She's a 5-1 projector. Projectors, like, whoo, she has the energy to do so many things because she's really, honestly, really in her design, if you look at it. But
Hmm.
five lines, being icons, being disruptors, they're also the karmic mirror. So you either love five lines or you hate them. There's no in between. People will project so
Hmm.
much onto you as a
I
five
hate the
line.
shit out of Taylor Swift.
They do, or they love her. There's
Crazy.
no
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
between. There's
Mhm.
no in between. You're either a Swiftie or you're evil. Like that's what they say to each other. I mean, like that's what it looks like. So
Yeah.
what happens a lot with five lines is people pedestalize them. They like are like, oh my God, you know so much. And they're like, and then the five lines are like, whoa, I don't want to get projected on. Or if they're in a very unhealthy state, they can be like, oh yes. And then they can somewhat become egotistical. This is where the healthy and unhealthy conversations come in. These behaviors can turn very different ways.
That actually
Um,
sounds like Beyonce too.
Yep.
I don't know if she's a
Okay.
five line,
The
but
Beehive.
Hmm.
yeah, and
Hmm.
it's one of those things where like five lines are the karmic mirrors. So if you don't like something in them, are they out of integrity? One, that's one part. If they're in integrity and you don't like something about them, what are they reflecting back to you? Because they are the karmic mirror.
Hmm.
So I'll use Taylor Swift as an example. I didn't like Taylor Swift, but she hit her Saturn return. She was so out of alignment when I was growing up, and I was like, she feels inauthentic. I don't like her. She hit her Saturn return, disappeared for a year or two, came out with Reputation, and started taking the world by storm. And I'm like, look at you as a 5-1 projector, being a fucking heretic, and I like you a lot better now. Am I a Swiftie? No, but I don't have like a
Right.
ugh against it. But I had to really look at like if you don't like something about a five line, ask yourself why. Is there
Mm.
something that's coming up? Is there something, or is it that they are literally out of integrity, like because they need to also work on that too. So
No,
that
damn,
everybody,
that's
everybody.
crazy you say that.
I wish I knew what the human designs of Prince and Madonna,
Oh,
because
they're probably on the internet because I can people do this all the time.
yeah, because those are two that I have always just been drawn to.
Yeah.
Know
Um,
what?
well, and then there's like, okay, so I'll say this before I forget. Inside,
Mhm.
those are just your profile lines. I'll go to the sixth line in a
Right.
second. Those are just like your main profile lines. But if you look at the two columns that are going down the sides of your chart, and anywhere it says like point 0.4, point 0.5, point 0.1, you might have
Exactly.
that's all five-line energy or six-line energy. Like that does come up in your chart in other ways through different gifts. And so different
Hmm.
gates. Six lines are role models. Six lines are oh, it's through our lived experience, right? We have three different phases of life. The first 30 years, you're fucking around and finding out. You hit your Saturn return. If you are not aligned in your Saturn return, which happens around 28, 29, 30 to about 33, can happen anytime in that. If you're not aligned, it's going to rip away, Saturn's just going to rip away everything that's not aligned with you. And it might be very painful. And it's meant to push you into integrity. So don't hold on to that. It's just not going to work. And then in about 33 to about 50, we're on the roof. We're looking back at our life. We're like, oh, these are the lessons I learned. Wow, this is like you're transmuting that energy and those lessons into wisdom. And then when you're about 50 years old, you're off the roof, you're a role model, and people are like really looking up to you. And so as a six line being a role model, like if you haven't lived it and you haven't embodied it, don't teach it. Don't try to teach theory. It won't work. If it does work, you're going to eventually burn it all down or somebody else will burn it down for you because you haven't lived it. And so really just being like, okay, what are the lessons that I'm learning? What are the stories that I am having to share with the world? And I will say this too, like being profile lines, the first number being conscious, the second being unconscious, we do behave differently. So like 6 2s behave very differently than 4 6s.
Yeah.
Sixes being like 6 2s. I have so many 6 2s. You guys like know you were meant to be on stage. You just know you were meant to be in the spotlight.
Since a little boy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a very six, like first six line energy. The six being in the second part, I was like, I know I'm meant for something, but like I didn't know I was meant to be in the spotlight. Like I didn't know people looked up to me. And every six line I talked to, they're like, yeah, I had this calling, or I knew that there was something that I was supposed to be like stand like, but it wasn't something where I'm like, oh, I want to be on stage and like speak on stages. Even now when I speak on stages, I'm like, let's all sit down. Let's sit down together and like have a conversation. And my 4 6 is
Connector.
just, yes, it's just,
Right.
it's different. And these things, your profile lines will show up in how you use social media and how you do business, in your strategies for selling, everything. That went a little bit longer than
Being
expected,
on
but
stage is actually a safety thing for me because there's like just that little bit of a disconnect. Although I'm talking to people, it's just that little bit of a disconnect. And I've noticed that even from being a director, I realize that naturally I'll do head levels. So if we're all sitting on a couch somewhere, if we're all in a living room, I will naturally pick a stool or pick the arm of the couch just so I'm a little bit elevated. And it's like, and that's just not, I would call it, I used to say it was my inner cat coming out, but it truly is that six.
and you're two. That's
Yeah.
how they
Okay.
that's such a small example of how those two things work together. As a
Mhm.
six, you're a role model that knows you're meant to be on stage in the first line. That energy comes out. Role model. People are looking up to me. The two is also like, but you're gonna take a step back. And I'm gonna hermit a little bit even in front of you. Like there's that
Mhm.
energy of the natural, like just taking a step back. So that's how they can work
Right.
together. It's wild the way that when you see it show up, because that's not
And
how I operate.
And you said something about don't teach theory. And what's really funny is I've recognized in myself when people will come to me with an idea and will ask my opinion. And it's like, do you think that'll work? And I will say, in theory, because I don't think that the plan is fully formed yet.
Well, and you're not like you're a role model through your lived experiences. So when
Hmm.
someone's like, tell me what to do, I'm like, I mean, I can tell you what to do, but also you got to go live it. Like
Yeah.
like don't put that on me. Like you need
Yeah.
to go live it. You need to go
Please
do the
do your
work.
thing. Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Taylor,
Yeah.
you have said that you are helping people craft visceral visions that pull them forward. What's that process like?
So I call it a turn on vision. I have a framework that I walk people through that is feminine based. So a lot of what I've learned about business over the years that I've deconditioned to is a very masculine perspective of like, what's this goal? How are we hitting it? Priorities, plan, like all of that. And what I find is that every time that we set up a business that way, or a year or 6 months or whatever it is, we hit that goal and we don't quite feel so satisfied. We're like, oh, what's the next goal? And it doesn't feel right. And so when I really started reverse engineering how the feminine does business differently, I go, okay, what is it that is the defining difference where these two masculine and feminine energies can work together? And the vision, the turn on vision that I crafted, it's a physical somatic exercise where you drop into your body. And I like to like blindfold people and like actually like physically move to a playlist while I guide them.
Mhm.
And when they drop into their body, and then they're guided through like, what is this turn on vision version of your life where you look into the future and you're like, oh my God, my life is amazing. Like, I love waking up into my life. It's not like, oh, I have a car and I have a house. Like, that's so antiquated, but also it's very surface level. You don't feel that. Whereas a turn on vision, when you look at it, this vision is so viscerally powerful. You can feel it in your emotions and your bones. And when you're going through this process, you're seeing it in your head and you're like, oh my God, I'm so turned on by life. That version of your life is being shown to you, and you do it over and over and over again. And when you have that vision come in, it can be small things at first, but that vision starts to get clearer and clearer. You feel the energy, it's getting into your body, and then you take bits of that and you start creating it in real time. So, like when
Mm.
I did my first ever turn on vision and I was like feeling it just for myself, the first thing I ever saw was my coffee maker. I used to have like a drip coffee maker, like the pot or whatever. And I was seeing my future self and I just loved my mornings. And I had such beautiful caramel lattes and I just enjoyed my morning coffee so much more than I was at the time that I was doing this. And I was like, huh, well, that makes sense because I love going to coffee shops. They have the coffee maker. I saw that in the vision. So I was like, screw it. And I bought a $600 coffee maker, which is the best purchase I've ever made in my life. And it still to this day is one of the best purchases I've ever made because I added pleasure. I saw parts of my future self and how she had pleasurable processes. And I'm now every morning turned on by my coffee. And if I can add more of that and more of my turn on vision, it's something that's supposed to pull you forward. And then goals can be created from that, systems and strategies can be created from that. It's something that you want to feel. And it's not something you're comparing yourself to. You're not comparing yourself to where you are in the future. That's just something that's pulling you forward and you're excited about it because you can feel it versus being like, oh yeah, well, I want to make 100K in a month. But when you make 100K, is that going to feel like enough? Are you going to hit 100K and then you want another 100K, then you want 300K? What is the feeling that you're going for? Let's craft a turn on vision version of your life that you're always returning to and you're adding more to and it's getting better and better. And that way, when you're actually like feeling it, it's like, oh, how do I add this feeling to my life? From there, goals and priorities and things can be delivered, they can be decided.
Well, I mean, it's the whole, people want something because they think it's going to make them feel good. Well, get turned on fucking now.
Mhm.
Yeah. Why do
Feel,
you think you have to wait?
yeah,
Yeah, do it
fuck all
now.
that. Like this morning I was going to the gym with my son and we were jamming some, I'm from Texas. I like H-Town rap. I like Texas rap. We're jamming Don, Slim Doug, Little Kiki. And then I just turned the camera on and we were, you know, like this. And in my mind, I'm like, this the kind of shit that this goofy, fun dancing, just being a goof troop motherfucker that I do. Like I haven't been showing this to people on social media.
Mhm.
That's fun, Laz. We want more fun, Laz.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I
Yeah.
haven't been doing that shit on social media, and it's like whatever. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not hiding any parts of me anymore. Y'all gonna see
Yeah.
this super fit, serious, goofy motherfucker from now on.
Well, and think about how much that performance energy of like, oh, I need to like not show, like, not that you're consciously doing it, but like, oh, I'm not showing this, and this is part of me because I think I need to be some way on social media that someone told me, and then there's like performance energy in a weird way
Yeah,
sometimes.
I was consciously doing that shit in different things, and then the whole performative shit dropped. And then I had to reel myself back in with, oh shit, some people are gonna think this is performative no matter what I do. I don't give a fuck anymore. And like just the habit that had gotten so the conditioning had gotten so fucking deep, not being goofy as fuck all the time. And when I am that way, I wasn't letting that goof or freak flag fly. I was
Let it fly.
Right.
fucking done, man.
Be a freak.
Be a
I
freak. I
am a
love it.
freak. you
But
know what I'm saying?
being
So
it being a
yeah,
freak in public, because
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my thing, you know. I've
yeah,
always wanted to, whatever I was doing it publicly. And
yeah,
I've always said, like, I've had friends that are in the what will the neighbors say because their parents taught them that. Usually it was the mom, what will the neighbors say? And I remember when I was a teenager, after I'd come out, I wanted to have a slumber party. And I had friends that were boys and girls. And my mother was like, what are these parents going to say about me having a co-ed slumber party? It's like that the kids feel safe at your house. You know?
Well,
And
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 like I mean, the things that people worry about. Sorry,
I know.
that you're
And
having that boys and girls can be friends. Like,
yeah. And it was so funny because the only logistic thing was we were doing it on a Saturday night, and these are my friends from church. And so it's like, how are we going to get everybody into the car to get to the church tomorrow? But otherwise, she was just like, but these, how am I going to look? And I was like, you're going to look like the parent that people feel safe with, that
yeah,
that the
Yeah,
kids
but
feel safe with.
that
And
condition,
she was that parent.
yeah,
And that was one of the only times, like there were three times where my mom introduced shame. And that was one of the only times. And she got over it and I got my slumber party. But it was
they're
one of
gonna
those things where she stopped and she was like, well, what is this going to say about me? And I was like, well,
they're gonna say that I'm bringing these kids together so they can fuck. That's
you
what
know
they're
what's
thinking,
yeah.
she didn't realize I was already doing that. And
right?
Well, and
You
it's so
can't do
funny.
that.
Well, it's so funny because it's like if you really think about half the things that parents are worried about, I'm like, kids are already doing it.
Kids ain't even thinking about that
yeah,
shit.
Or they're already doing it, in which case, like, dude, like that, you can't do anything. You just got to teach them to not shame themselves.
You
And
tell me
so,
not to do it, I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna get good at lying like I did.
right. And something I think that I apply this to how I like work with people in business, but also just like people I know. I am happy to be the person that people come to like feel accepted as who they
hmm
are. Because when I think
Okay.
about my nieces and my nephews, my niece is 22 years old. Like we have a 10-year age difference. And so when she's out and she's like, "Oh, Aunt Taylor, this guy," like I'm like, "Okay, well, let's just talk about it." Like you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about me like going and telling your parents or whatever it is. It's like I'm glad that I can be the safe space, but also look at you and be like, don't be a dumbass. Like, let's be real and not be performative and not be this. I am one of the least judgmental people you will ever find. But I'm also like, we're not playing around. We're not gonna,
Right.
I'm not gonna mince words because I want to be the cool aunt or something like that. And so, anyway, all that to say, when it's like performance and we think about social media or business or anything like that, I would rather be thought of as someone who is like, oh, wow, you're the same online that you are in person. And I've had people tell me that. And I'm like, yeah, why would I be anything different? That's exhausting.
I stopped acting because I liked being myself. And
Don't
I
perform unless you're
found,
gonna get paid.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
man, maybe this is another podcast episode, but I want to talk about at some point in length the performative aspect of it's the not performing for love.
Not
Oh,
performing
yeah.
for love.
There is an aspect of being performative where you are not doing because you want that love from other
Yeah.
people and that acceptance from other people.
Is that
It doesn't look like performance.
yeah.
Well, we're going to have another episode on
That's
that,
what I'm saying. Yeah, I have
Hell
to
yeah.
bring
specifically
that up
on that,
because
because I have a lot of thoughts on that.
Same.
And
Yeah.
so,
Well,
Taylor,
yes. What
go
else do
ahead.
you guys have question
Yeah.
wise?
yeah.
Wildly Satisfied is your brand and
Yes.
it's genius marketing. When did you decide to make it a lifestyle?
It was a lifestyle first, actually, before it became a brand. So in 2021, 2022, 2022. So I had moved back to Nashville after COVID and I was living in New York City at the time. And when I was sitting in my Nashville apartment, waiting for the world to open back up and even in 2022,
Oh, yeah.
I was living in this really, really beautiful apartment. I was on my balcony and was exhausted. Like I was just really tired. I had just woken up and I was exhausted. And I'm like, what is going on? And all of a sudden I was like, what is this feeling that I want? And I felt like I got smacked. Like the universe just smacked me in the face. It was like, you want to be satisfied. Like that was
Damn.
I literally
Amen.
got pushed back in my chair. Like I got slapped across the face in the most loving way. Like, wake the fuck up. And it was like, in the most loving way, like, you want to be wildly satisfied. And I went,
Mhm.
Oh
shit.
shit.
And I got up And if you knew me back then, like I don't function well in the morning in the morning. And so I got up and I started just writing. And it went down to like a 13-month, it was like a 13-month journey that I went on.
Okay.
And that was in May of 2022. And I ended up going on a 13-month journey. And my birthday's in June. So
Mhm.
for 13 months from 2022 to 2023, I went on a journey, my wildly satisfied journey. And each month had like a different focus and things like that. And I really recognized how in the first couple of months, it was showing me where I was burned out and out of alignment.
Mhm.
You know, I went in July to a friend who is a doctor and she's also a naturopath and she's got a great experience. And she was like, yeah, you're on the cusp of like three different autoimmune disorders. Like, you got to do something. And I was like, yeah, I know. And that was like, my
Mhm.
spleen was like, I know. And I ended up going home. I was working service-based at the time, doing a lot of copywriting and physical projects with my client. And I went to my clients and I was like, here's the deal. By December, I will be out of projects and I'm going full consulting. And if
Mhm.
you're not okay with that, then we're going to say goodbye. I can't do this anymore. But if you want to stay, we'll stay. And everybody stayed. They're like, no, we want your brain. And I was like, amazing.
Okay.
But I spent the rest of 2022 like getting my body in alignment and figuring out where I wasn't aligned and what I wasn't okay with and where I wasn't satisfied. And I really dove a lot into human design and deconditioning during that year. And then in December of 2022, I did my first two psychedelic journeys, and one of them was, in Costa Rica with Don Cole, and it was great. It was
Mhm.
beautiful. Really just opened my mind up. From there, I got like an intuitive hit to move to Austin, and of course, did not make the decision in the middle of those journeys because you don't do that. When I went back after the new year, I had no stress in my body. I had zero worry in my body because of the journey that I went on with Shuma in Costa Rica.
Mhm.
And things just started shifting from my relationship with my parents and my dad. And so many beautiful things came from that to it's time to move to Austin. So I packed up everything and was only supposed to be in Austin for 6 months. And I've been here for 3 years. And so it was just a full year long journey of me really finding what was satisfying to me. And then ever
Mhm.
since then, like that's the question that I ask, whether it's what's going on with my business or my life or my relationships or anything like that. And I get lost. I mean, we all get lost. Life happens, but constantly coming back to, am I living a wildly satisfying life? And as a
Mhm.
projector, success for me leads to satisfaction. Whereas generators and manifesting generators, like satisfaction leads to success. It's our signatures, right? And
Mhm.
so, like as a generator or a mani-gen, if you don't feel satisfied, you will not receive success. It will not be successful. And for a projector, like I need to feel successful in order to feel satisfied. And my definition of success had to change because it used to be that I was hustling or it used to be that I was working really hard or whatever money or whatever it is. And it's like, that's not my definition of success. It's very much changed. And so living a wildly satisfying life is constantly checking in and being like, am I satisfied with how I'm working with these clients? Am I satisfied with my fitness routine, my food, like whatever it is? And it's not like constant vigilance around that. It's am I in alignment with like what I say that I believe in and what I know to be true? And if
Mhm.
I'm not in alignment, I need to course correct because I don't believe in being out of integrity. Like it causes so many problems. So
Right.
many. So,
Well, people can believe in it all they want if they do.
well,
But
and
how's that
yeah,
work?
right. And I don't understand not wanting to be satisfied. I've had conversations with people who are like, "Oh, well, why like that's a weird thing." Like for me to be like, "Oh yeah, well everybody should be wildly satisfied." It's like people fight against it because they're so used to suffering and that being the way of life. And when I was in Costa Rica, what came through on the second day of the retreat that I went on was, I'm done learning from pain. I want to learn from pleasure now.
Whoa.
And it shifted everything. Like I was already in pleasure-based business, but I wasn't really living it. And I'm like, why do I think that I have to have pain in order to change? With the feminine specifically, like female, like let's talk about like female bodies and like women who have grown up in the constructs of being a woman. The female body is built for pain. We can withstand a lot of pain.
Mhm.
We're built to give birth. We're built to withstand pain. They see it now with like period stimulators. There's jokes about how like, all of this. And so whoever thought, let's add more pain to a woman and that's going to make her want to change in terms of marketing, really didn't think this through because pain shuts us down or pisses us off. When the desire is strong enough, the feminine moves. So if I'm going to build a life that is wildly satisfying, I need to look at pleasure as the standard, as the satisfaction as the standard, and build from there, not survival, not striving to always be something or do something. It's like, no, I want my life to be satisfying. I created an entire environment in my home that I'm like, God, I love this. I love these curtains. I love this setup. I love the plants. Like, I am satisfied by my environment. That does not mean I am stagnant. That does not mean that I am settling. I had a conversation with someone who they're like, always be hungry. And I'm like, that's awful advice. That's awful. They're like, stay hungry. And I'm like, why would I think about what you're saying right now? I get what you mean in terms of like motivation. I understand what you're trying to say, but stay hungry means that you are not nourishing yourself. That is a survival mechanism. Why would you actually want your body to stay hungry versus like, I
No,
always want to evolve and grow and be challenged? That's different. Stay hungry.
I,
Come
I got a couple
on.
things to say about that.
Scoot.
Yeah.
That's a yoga
So
trope
one,
too.
we have grown up in America. Two,
Yeah.
Christianity.
Puritanism.
Jesus suffered. Jesus died for your sins. And in order to get to heaven, you have to suffer here and you'll get all the rewards when you
See,
get there.
That doesn't
that's
even make
the
sense.
thing. Jesus suffered so we didn't have to suffer anymore.
Well, I'm just saying, like, be like
Yeah, I
Jesus.
mean,
No,
We
that's
yeah.
should
the whole
suffer
thing.
our whole lives. And then so people buy into that on a very deeply conditioned level. And
Yep.
I'm not saying this is why all people do it, but that is what America was brought up on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But
a
it's
whole
just
nother rabbit
one
hole.
reason,
Yeah.
a big one that could impact a whole shit ton of people, even if you're not didn't grow up in church. This shit's one nation under God. In God we trust. Like these things are deeply into every aspect of
Everything.
TV, public school, everything.
Well, and
Yeah.
and so it's like question it. And so if let's not go down the rabbit hole of like religion, but just
Yeah.
if I agree with you, like there's so much there. That's a whole episode. We could do a
It's a whole-
series. We
yeah.
should just
We could just do a whole
guys.
series, yes.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Write this
with
down.
when it comes to like satisfaction, right? To go to your back to your thing, but in related to like religion, why is it threatening to you? Is the question that I ask. If I bring up anything, satisfaction, pleasure, whatever it is, I always ask the person, they're like, oh no, that's not how it works. I'd be like, why is that threatening to you? Why is it threatening to you and your nervous system and your constructs or anything that you know where satisfaction can be the baseline? And usually what they come up with is, well, I'll get complacent and like satisfaction. I'm just like sitting here. I'm like, that's not what that means. If you're always striving, you're wasting energy versus I'm satisfied and I'm evolving, I'm growing. And the words we use and how we go about things and how we look at things matters. And so like if this is something that you're listening to this and this feels threatening to you, ask yourself why. Is peace a threat? Do you think that being satisfied means what? That you're going to not want to evolve and grow? I don't know a single fucking human that will ever not want to evolve and grow. And the ones who don't want to evolve and grow are in a lot of ego and conditioning, and they aren't safe, and there's things that need to be healed. That's an entirely different thing. It's an entirely different thing. But like when a semi-healthy individual actually is not in survival anymore, they're always going to want to grow. They always contribute to society. They always build things that are better. But sticking us in suffering and pain, all it is keeping us perpetuating this lifestyle where we're not satisfied and we're not able to contribute. And then that affects the economy and it affects relationships. And it's a whole thing. So yes. Yeah,
My
satisfaction.
homeboy sent me a thing about fasting. And remember what you told me about fasting my body and what I responded? And so he sent it to me the other day. And it was some doctor talking about what happens in the body when you fast and what they lied to you about eating. And I was just like, nope,
Nope.
no, I'm
Trust your
good.
body.
Even when people even when my intuition was, I was questioning, should I try this fast? And I tried the fast and I was like, oh, it was cool for whatever. But that's not something I'm gonna do every month.
No, and see, this is where you get to go. This is not me telling you what to do. It's look at your
Yeah.
chart, understand what your body is telling you, and trust your body. Trust it. Your body has so much intelligence in it. It's not even funny, but we have been conditioned to not trust our body and to just trust our mind. Okay. Your body is giving you signals. It has its own language. When it comes to fasting, this is obviously a little bit different, but like your friend gave you that. It's like, okay, well, in your chart, are you an active brain versus a passive brain? Cool. If you're an active brain, you probably shouldn't fast. If you're a passive brain, you can fast as much as you'd like. But like I'm an active brain. I can't fast the way that other people do.
You
I
know what's
need
crazy?
calories. Hmm.
He's an active brain.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like, okay, you're an active brain and you like fasting. Do you like fasting because it's good for you? Are you doing it because you think you have to? Are you doing it because someone else knows better and you're not trusting yourself? Are you doing it because, you know what, I experimented with it and actually I can do fasting, but I do it in a different way, right? I can do fasting where it's like the 16/8 or the 24 to a point, but I can't do it every week. I can't do it every month. I can't do it every, like, it's very, very specific. So that's where you get to intuitively test what's right to you. And it's not me going, hey, you can't fast because you have an active
Yeah.
brain. It's cool. This is what your chart says. Here's how you can play with it. Now go intuitively test it.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that are doing things to try and biohack. And it's
Yes.
like, well,
Yep. That's exactly what it
there's
is. I know it.
there is a lesson in finding out how things work for your body. And just
Yes.
because it worked for somebody else's body doesn't mean that that's how your body works.
Well, and
Oh,
also, so I asked the question, but who did that? But where did that come from? Like questioning. So for me, when someone sends me an article about how like this is how the body works or something like that, I'm like, cool. Who did that test? What did they do it on? Was it on male bodies or female bodies? Male brains or
was you
female
on
brains? Because
rats?
was it on
Right.
rats? Was it on like let's question it because even with biohacking, they're like, oh my God, yeah, fasting's great, cold plunge is great. I'm like, cool. Is that true for everybody? No,
No.
it's not. And it's not some, and this is where it pisses me off with people when it comes to like business, biohacking, anything. They're like, oh, you're just arguing for your limitations. Because I can challenge myself left and right. I'm not arguing for my limitations. I'm going to edge my nervous system. I'm going to titrate, but I'm not going to push myself off the fucking edge without a parachute because you think you know better because you read some article and then decided that you were an expert. Like, and or you might have, I get so pissed about this. I'm like,
Oh my God.
my body knows how my body is supposed to be. And I'm not arguing for my limitations, but I'm also not going to completely dysregulate myself because you think that I need to do it a certain way.
Boom.
It's just not going to happen. You can go
Take
fuck
that to
yourself.
the clip bank.
It's just like,
Drop the mic.
Yo, that's the promotional clip.
There it
and then
is right there.
and then go fuck
Actually,
yourself.
there are several clips here,
I
and
know, but
thank you so much.
yo,
Yes,
that's one of the ones I'm putting up for show. Probably the first one.
thank
Like,
you.
yo, go fuck yourself, like
Go.
right now.
Because like I'm sorry, but I can
Holy
challenge
shit.
I can challenge people in the best way
Wow.
without taking them out of sovereignty of their body.
Hmm.
I
I
just had
love
so
that.
I just had someone recently say to me the rhetoric in the spiritual community of like, oh, well, you've manifested this, right? Well,
Mm,
whatever's going on, you've manifested this, and that's why this pain or whatever is happening. And I'm like, I know what you're trying to say, but also quit being an asshole.
yeah,
Like, yes, we have materialized things, but at the same time, I'm not actively like being like, yes, I want this pain. It's like, oh, what am I learning from the situation? How can I move with it? But don't be there and like be negatively like trying to shame in a way.
and because that is where I come from, and hearing it, it's like that's like victim shaming.
Yeah.
When a person feels like they're the victim of their circumstances, and you're like, well, you asked for it. Well, there's a way to say
And
that where
you
you can
can.
say, there are certain lessons that you agreed to, and you might not remember that agreement. And so, what can we get from this? What lesson are we trying to get? What is this situation trying to teach us? And then we can
Yeah.
look at it that way.
What do you want to never
Mhm.
feel this way again. What do you want to
Right.
experience instead? What can you, like, we're
Mhm.
not saying that it's not happening either because we don't want to spiritually
Right.
bypass, but it's like
Exactly.
when I look at like business and building like intuitive strategy, when I look at human design, anything like that, people are like,
Mhm.
okay, it's a good example of this that we've had recently. I'm burned out as a projector. I'm burned out as a
Mhm.
projector over and over again, right? And I go, yeah, I get that. But if someone looked at me and I said, well, you're manifesting that, I would
No,
slap the
yeah.
shit out of them in the verbal way. The
Right?
verbal way. I wouldn't put hands on someone. But anyway, the burnout, I go, okay,
Mhm.
so is this a pattern? Is this something that has come up multiple times? Amazing. So we can identify it. We don't need to keep identifying with it. We just need to go, oh, this is what needs to shift. Oh, can we make micro tweaks? Oh, can we
Mhm.
change this a little bit in how we go about things, lean more into that design and just choose differently?
Yes.
Can we just choose differently? That's it.
Permission to choose differently.
It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be a big thing.
What?
Yeah. Well, I am happy to do more series and we can like talk about multiple
Yeah, yeah.
mini
It's just
We can come
conversations.
back and talk about more things. Yes, for
this
sure.
happens with me a lot with projector women specifically. I
Mhm.
told you
Because we're
this, but
amazing.
yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah.
So, Taylor, with that, like, what do you have coming up next? Where can we find you?
Okay. I have my YouTube channel, which is great. You can always find me on wildlysatisfiedmedia.com, but I'm really leaning into YouTube as well as I've been putting together a lot of like human design based practical guides, which has been wonderful, both audio as well as written. You can find that on my store, on my website. So, for example, I have like an ideal client, figuring out your ideal client based on your human design and then how to actually speak to them because I have like the background in copywriting and marketing and stuff. I have a guide on that. I'm creating so many all the time. I do seasonal recalibration labs. I do private mentorship as well. And so all of that is on my website. Also, just come and connect with me. Like I am on Instagram at Wildly Intuitive and Wildly Satisfied, and you're welcome to connect with me on there. But YouTube is really the best place just to be able to dive deeper into the topics and yeah, and have those seasons come out. So
What's the at on YouTube?
Yay.
Wildly Satisfied. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's all at Wildly Satisfied, by the way. The only one on Instagram is at Wildly Intuitive because that's my personal one and the
Hmm.
brand. So I got them both. But yeah, you're welcome to reach out. You also like, please know that you are not a burden to reach out to me and start conversations. Like I know a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't want to bother you. I'm like, no, 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 please do. Like I love this. You're not bothering me. I have questions, or you're like, hey, I've always wondered about this when it comes to human design or business or sustainability or anything satisfaction. Let me know.
Just don't expect me to get right back to you.
She won't.
Nope.
She ain't.
Nope.
She gonna, her automatic email gonna tell you, I ain't getting right back to you.
Yep.
Exactly.
Fuck
So,
Boundaries.
that shit.
Taylor,
She
what would you like to give
teaching
our
me some shit.
audience? What would
But
you like to give our audience permission to do?
hmm, I would like to invite you into a realm where, first of all, like satisfaction isn't something that you have to strive for. It's just something that you live. And despite what anybody else tries to tell you, it can be the foundation that you build from. And I want to give you permission to build from you, not from anybody else. Like your intuitive way of being, you are so beautiful. And the way that you operate, I don't care if you're an emotional authority in human design. I don't care if you're a 6-2 or a 1-3. I don't care if you're a projector or a manifestor, reflector, whatever it is. There's such divine, amazing intelligence in how you were designed, beyond human design, but designed. And when you really tap into that, you will feel so much more satisfied and successful and sustainable. And so please stop listening to all of these gurus that are trying to tell you you need to be something that you're not and lean into what your body is telling you and what your design is telling you and play with it. You'll be a lot more satisfied.
Yay. Thank you so much for joining us here in the portal.
You're so welcome. It was an honor.
Oh. So, please like and follow so you can find out what we have next and when we have new content. Check out our links in the description My links can be found at by Paulmark, that's B-Y, Paulmark, not B-U-Y, by Paulmark.com. And last can be found at
Creatorschool.com is school with a K, not a CH, and the Lazarus Effect.com, effect with an A, not an E. I like to spell shit different.
And share this with a friend, especially if you enjoyed it. Reach out to us if you have any questions or topics you want us to discuss at thepermissionportal@gmail.com. And remember,
The portal is always open.